"Mom, he's my brother," said the little boy to his millionaire mother when he saw the boy on the street. Then the sun gleamed off the city towers as 6-year-old Andrew, dressed in a perfect navy blue suit, clutched his mother's hand. They had just left a downtown gala, a fundraiser event at the Ritz, where wealthy families mingled in glass halls and exchanged soft laughter over champagne. Andrew was quiet as usual, polite, well-mannered, and accustomed to silence. His mother, Clara Whitmore, was known for her elegance. A tall woman in beige heels and crisp suits, she moved through life like everything was already scheduled and resolved. But nothing had prepared her for what would happen that afternoon. As they rounded a corner near 6th Avenue, Andrew suddenly froze. His grip on Clara's hand tightened. "Andrew?" she asked, glancing down. "What is it?" Andrew didn't speak. His gaze was locked on the sidewalk ahead. There, crouched against the wall near a trash bin, sat a skinny boy, barefoot, shirtless, dusty. He looked no older than 8. His ribs pushed against his skin. His eyes were sunken with hunger. In his hands he held a crumpled cardboard sign that read, "Food," and for a long moment the two boys simply stared at each other. Then Andrew whispered, "Mom, he's my brother." Clara blinked. "I beg your pardon?" Andrew's voice broke. "That's Malik. He used to give me food when we were little in the place, with the green beds. When I had bad dreams, he held my hand." Clara's brows furrowed. "Andrew, sweetheart, you've never had a brother." "Yes, I did," he said, his voice trembling. "Before you and Daddy brought me here, when I didn't have suits, when I was cold." Clara felt something stir in her chest, an unease she hadn't known in years. She looked again at the boy on the street. The child looked up slowly, his dark eyes meeting hers. Not begging, not angry, just watching. Clara tried to guide Andrew away. "Come, darling. Let's keep walking." But Andrew yanked her hand hard. "No," he cried. "He's my big brother. He always shared, even when he was hungry too." People turned to look. Drivers slowed down. Clara's face flushed, but Andrew let go of her hand and stepped toward the boy on the street. His small shoes clicked softly against the pavement. The boy's name echoed in his chest. Malik. He remembered that name like it was written on his bones, and though they were different colors and Malik was taller, rougher, older by 2 years, none of it mattered because Malik had once been the only person in the world who cared for him. "Malik," Andrew whispered. The boy looked up slowly, as if unsure he was dreaming. Then something in his face cracked. His jaw trembled. "Andy." Andrew rushed forward, throwing his small arms around the bony boy's neck. Malik didn't move at first. Then his hand lifted hesitantly and rested gently on Andrew's back. Clara stood frozen, her hand still suspended in the air. This wasn't imagination. This was memory. It had all happened 5 years ago when Andrew was just over a year old. Clara and her husband had adopted him through a private agency from another country. The paperwork had been smooth, the records minimal. They were told he had been abandoned and lived briefly in a foster center. They never knew he had someone with him. No mention of another child. No mention of Malik. As a crowd gathered, Clara stepped forward, her voice shook. You know each other." Malik looked up, shielding his eyes from the sun. "I used to feed him my porridge when the workers forgot," he said quietly. "I told him stories at night. He didn't talk much, but he used to fall asleep next to me." "Why are you here?" she asked, almost a whisper. Malik looked down. "They never took me. Said I had breathing problems. Said nobody would want me." He didn't cry. He didn't ask for anything. He just held Andrew in his arms like a boy who had held him through storms before. And Clara realized then her son didn't find a stranger on the street. He found someone he already loved, someone who once held his hand when the world had none to give. That night, Clara Whitmore sat at her grand mahogany desk with tears streaking her designer makeup. The house was quiet. Andrew had cried, himself to sleep, whispering Malik's name as if afraid he might vanish again. Clara wasn't the type to get emotional. She was a woman of business facts and polished control. But now she was staring at the single photo she took on her phone, Andrew clinging to that street boy like he'd never let go, and the boy Malik sitting in silence as if he didn't believe he deserved to be remembered. Clara called her private investigator at midnight. "I need everything. Adoption records, the orphanage, hospital files, anything tied to Andrew's early childhood. If there's another boy, his name is Malik. I want to know why they were separated." The next day, a discovery shook her to the core. Andrew and Malik had indeed come from the same orphanage, same intake week. Similar height, weight, even illness records. They had shared a room. One record had Malik's name listed with Andrew's, but at some point a line had been drawn across it in red ink, followed by the words, "Deemed unfit, adoption, not recommended." And just like that, he vanished from the paperwork. Clara's hands trembled as she read the words over and over. They hadn't even told her there were two boys. She returned to the street with Andrew the next morning, praying that Malik hadn't disappeared again. He hadn't. He was sitting exactly where they left him, this time with a sandwich from a kind passerby, but untouched. His eyes lit up the moment. He saw Andrew, who ran across the pavement and wrapped his arms around him without hesitation. Clara knelt beside them. "Malik, I want to take you home," she said gently. "At least until we figure this out." Malik looked up at her stunned. "Why?" "Because I should have asked about you a long time ago," she said softly. "And because my son, your brother, never stopped remembering you." Over the next few days, Clara pulled every string she had. Emergency placement, legal intervention, DNA test. And on the 6th day, just before dawn, her lawyer handed her the results. A 99.9% sibling match, not by blood, but by history. The same foster home, same intake file, same early nourishment care ID. Two boys separated by a cruel judgment, a pen stroke, and indifference. Now found again by a 6-year-old in a tiny suit with a giant heart. Clara arranged a press conference not for fame, but for accountability. "We adopted Andrew thinking we were giving a child a second chance," she said, "but we didn't know. He already had someone who loved him like a brother. We were never told. That omission stole 5 years from 2 children who needed each other." Her voice cracked. "This is Malik," she added, placing her hand gently on his shoulder as he stood nervously beside Andrew. "He isn't broken, he isn't less, he's brave, and from this day forward he's home." The crowd stood, some cried, and Malik, for the first time in years, smiled. Months passed. Malik started school, his first real classroom ever. He struggled with the alphabet but excelled at math. Andrew held his hand every morning, proudly introducing him to his friends as my big brother. Clara enrolled him in therapy, nutrition support, and art class, but more than anything, she gave him what he never had before: a bed, a nameplate, a space on the family photo wall, and a future. And on his 9th birthday, she gave him something else. Small, worn, but priceless. A laminated copy of the cardboard sign that once read food. Below it, she had added in golden ink, "You asked for food, you gave love, and now you both have everything." Because some families are made by chance, but others are made by the children who refuse to forget each other. And Andrew, he didn't just find a lost boy on the street. He found the part of himself that had always been missing. A brother forever. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales. And let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.